So you showed me a picture. You guys been doing a little bit of wet trimming.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
How much you got left?
Of the trimming,
Yeah.
on this one, I can show it.
Oh, look at that. Oh, she's cute.
Yeah, this is where the other part of the plant was. So you can see, we got basically one side done
Yep.
and half of this side done too. So I'd say this one's gonna do about an ounce, probably about an ounce.
And that was your outdoor?
That was one of my smaller outdoors.
And just to go ahead and refresh, so as you're clipping it, you are washing them?
Yes. I know we touched on that earlier in another clip, but yeah, that's basically how I do it from now on. I like to wash it. I see how dirty the water is afterward, and I'm convinced that every single time is what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's after doing it the first time myself, it's something I'm going to do every time, tried and true.
Yeah.
So and that's it then, huh? You'll be finished up with that last run, with that last of that.
There's one more plant in the tent right now.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Doors that put into the tent.
Nice.
So that one I'm gonna finish up this weekend, I think, and then I've got the four, smaller ones.
Yeah.
They're seeds. They're probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks old now. About 4 weeks. I just today actually put them in. Took them out of the solo cups and put them in 5-gallon buckets.
Oh, fun.
So I'm ready to start training them maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe a week. I don't know.
How many nodes do they have on
them? They've already been topped.
Okay.
So what was that, like 5 when I topped them?
So what? Okay, what I did on that last run with the gal that I bent down real hard, I did it early, like real early.
The topping, the training.
No, just the bending over and creating new tops naturally.
Okay. So the training.
Yeah. So training. So when it comes to the topping, every time you do it, whether it's on like the main growth or any of the other branches, so it's going to stall it for a couple days. Okay. So definitely, depending on space, if you need to buy yourself a few days to slow like one plant down to let another one catch up, definitely topping. I have like a whole bunch of extra room because I'm only running 3 plants right now. So what I've been doing is just opening everything. So each plant got topped one time, and then I've just been bending over branches. It's kind of hard to describe, but I have most of them, they split off into like a hand, they come up, and then I have them twist, and they're almost like a pinwheel. Chase, like each branch is bent and then is running back towards the next branch behind it, and then that branch is bent running back. So it's like a pinwheel. It's kind of hard to describe, but kind of like a pinwheel. But I've done that with all 3.
I did.
Sorry, what's that?
Similar to that one that I did.
Yeah. How the one you had the 2 running off and just had a whole bunch of arms coming up.
No, that one that from the first.
Oh, that spun. Yeah.
It started curving it all the way around.
Yeah. So I have about 30 tops on each plant. On the 2, the small one, the whatever I got from my dispo bag. That one, I still have a couple more like turns to do to get it fully spun around the bucket. So
Uh-huh.
I've only got like, I don't know, 15 tops right now. Poor little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, start bending those down right now. You know, punch like a hole in the cup, take paper clips, bend them over, tie that down. Just get them used to it now.
They're all in the 5 gallon buckets now.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean they were just topped, I don't know, like maybe a week and a half ago. So I mean, it's just, like this much above the dirt right now.
Okay.
And I know of people that'll let it grow and then they take the plant and they bend it like this kind of thing.
Yep.
It tells me that that's going to kind of go like in this direction, to where me, I top it and then I got this and I got it going in both directions. That's kind of what I like to look for.
Sure.
And then the nodes below it grow up here. And then, like you said, you have like the four, you have like, like a four, and then you can either spread it out or you could start doing the pinwheel like you're talking. I mean, it's all kind of an art. So you
Yeah.
can kind of different things if you want. And some are gonna create more nodes and some ways are gonna create less in your artistry. But you can treat it almost like a bonsai tree, make it what you want as far as looks. That's some people wanna, they wanna do a little bit more artsy with it. And I kind of find that interesting.
So I'm finally smoking on my stuff. I dipped into my blueberry big devil.
Ooh, that sounds tasty.
Yeah, it's it man. So specifically I'm smoking the one that had that huge cola on it that I kept showing a lot of pictures of on Instagram. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's got like a very tangy, real pungent flavor to it. Um, I got a couple in there that are of different. The one I was telling you off screen, the big guns. Man, every time I open that jar, it smells exactly like Fruity Pebbles. Like with a fresh bag of Fruity Pebbles, that very first like
Oh,
fruity pebble, almost like fake fruity smell. Oh man, that's exactly what it's like. I can't wait for that. Oh, I can't wait. I got like 2 more days technically before I can dip into it.
mm,
That's
man,
yeah,
I
that's the
love
one that
it.
I pulled out. And it's still just a little too sticky, little too very, it's in the jar, it's still reading at like about 52, which is right where normally I would start dipping into it. But man, that thing just got so much oils and resin built into it. That would have been a great one to smash, let me tell you.
Oh yeah. Ooh, man. Well, that sounds great. That sounds like I love fruity pebbles. I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what. And I don't have any milk in the house tonight. I found out. So
Uh-oh. Is that
there's
what?
enough for my grandson to have some milk tomorrow. And so
Yeah, sure sounds like someone's ransacking the kitchen trying to find your milk, man.
no.
Sorry. So, yes, you had aphids. Please continue.
Seafood. And so yeah, and you were telling me something to do if I ever come across that again, and that's keep the ladybugs. So I'm gonna be trying that if it happens again. I don't think I'll have any problems, until obviously next year because it's gonna be cold here for a while.
Yeah, it's nice. But don't get too comfortable with that because they'll come in where it's warm. In the winter here is when I keep my door closed all the time.
Yeah.
And that's when I actually start running into not like your normal bugs, but I'll get like I'll get an occasional like ants in there because it's warm. there's moisture, and
I'm
occasionally. Oh,
sure like everything is dead where I live in the winter. Everything just dies or it goes in like burrows somewhere and hibernates. Yeah, you don't really get any bugs in it. You could have your window wide open all winter long and it'd just be cold.
oh yeah, no, I still got bees and mosquitoes out right now.
No, we ain't got none of that.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the 80s today. It was beautiful out, man. I got the whole house open.
Mm, yeah, I think it was like 40 today, like 40,
I don't even
45.
think it hit that. The real 24 this morning.
I don't think we ever average in the 40s. So every few years we will get some snow up here. Kind of revealing a little bit of where I'm at, technically in Arizona. But yeah, every couple of years we will get snow, and it's crazy because when it does snow, nobody out here knows how to drive it. It's horrible. It is horrible.
I mean, that's this. I'm in Illinois, but Southern Illinois, they're the same way. They don't know how to drive in no snow.
Yeah, and the one thing out here that, kind of coming from out there to out here in the desert. So when it first rains, our roads are so slick from all the dust and the oil and everything. So and that's, out there it rains all the time. So like driving through the rain is no big deal. So when I first moved out here, I'm zipping down the highway, it starts raining, everyone's like, 10, 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. I'm like, what do you got?
Yeah,
People, right? And after not that moment, but down the road, when I did actually finally lose a little bit of control, I was like, oh, noted. Now, once it like rains for a little bit and washes it away, it's just like regular. But it's crazy. The moment that water starts hitting, it is like, oh, it's an ice skating rink everywhere. It's weird. It's very weird.
up in Wisconsin, they actually spray their roads like before it starts getting cold, and it's something that makes the roads like not slick when it rains and when it snows. Yeah,
Interesting.
Arizona maybe should just look into that and just be like, yeah, we just spray our roads every
It
few.
would probably melt, whatever it is.
Oh, it's not. It's not meant to. It's done before it actually gets cold, so that when it gets cold later, it doesn't freeze up and get slick. Because I mean, obviously, northern Wisconsin, it's like 6 months out of the year it's cold. Yeah, it's up there right now. My dad has a cabin, and it's like they got snow, like
That's crazy.
yeah, on the ground.
I'm in like now because I live out here. So like in the mornings, I'm cold. When it's like 72, I'm freezing, man, freezing. So I wear a hoodie. I'm cold. I got the heat running in my car. But I still wear like shorts all day and like it's beautiful. I flip flops as soon as I get home. House is open. It's great.
Yeah. So so the aphids, the nutrient lockout possibly. And then there was that one plant that I had that even I mean the humidity was kind of high in the tent. I will say that, but it didn't really affect any of the other plants negatively. It's just this one plant, the thing was soaking wet. It was like I could feel it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So that was the first one I took down. It had it was gonna start rotting if I didn't. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I needed to get it out of there. I brought it in, just started drying it out, and that was the first one that I started trimming up this last round.
Was it was it like further away, like furthest away from like the fan or any sort of like ventilation, maybe?
Oddly, it was actually probably one of the closest to a fan.
Huh.
Because that one of my oscillating, it would have been like the second plan it hit. In the so it would have been the middle one, and because I had
Sure.
six going, so
Okay.
it would have been the one in the front row, right to the. So yeah, I don't know what it was. I
That,
mean, it could have possibly been one of some of the holes got clogged up or something, some of the drainage holes, and
it,
but
yeah,
when I'm thinking it needs water like the rest of them, I'm hitting it with water, and it might have that and the high humidity combination.
absolutely. Yeah, that's so the clogged drainage holes, that is something I have definitely dealt with. Because I make all my own. I use the typical orange Home Depot buckets, as you can see in all of my posts. Um,
Mhm.
so I make all my stuff myself. We just recently got a grow store, in like an actual like kind of specialized grow store in my area. So forever I was just literally Home Depot, Ace Hardware, the mom and pop place local, like, those were, and then Amazon. Those were the only options. So,
Yeah,
um, so
those Amazon.
early on when I first did, my Home Depot bucket setup, I put a couple holes in it, like two or three on the bottom and like one in the middle, not much. And I think two out of my four got root rot pretty quick. Like, let's be real honest, because I was overwatering and blah blah blah, and no drainage, and I didn't know what was wrong. So just more water, more CalMec, and it just kept adding to the problem, when really the problem was just drainage. You know, it wasn't my feeding, it wasn't my soil mixture, which it probably needed more perlite. To be truthfully honest, probably needed more of that anyway. But so now I go kind of crazy. The bottom, I have like a weird grid pattern that I do all the way across, and then I do like a round, probably like an inch above the top, you know, 6 or 7 holes, just to make sure that it drains properly. And then if you do, again, okay, for me, because it's so dry out here, when I do my drying stage and get the roots to really kind of dig deep,
Mhm.
it'll over dry real fast. Like, it's not when it's like ready to get watered, you can't wait an extra day out here. It's so dry, the soil just soaks right, so but it always comes up, back. It's way better to underwater than overwater. So,
Yeah. Yes.
sorry, getting sidetracked. So anyway, back to it, blah blah blah. So, um, um, God, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm high as shit, and I lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that, with the watering and the drainage holes, but
So you put drainage holes in the bottom of your bucket.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
so what I'll do, so like early on when it's real dry, any runoff, I keep them in like a little reservoir. I'll let that just soak right back up into the bottom, because it's just running off all that dry soil, because a lot of people will just dump all the runoff. I'll actually let it soak back in the bottom.
See, I put all my holes like about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the bucket all the way around, just to leave that tiny little bit for like, so it's never completely out of water. Plus, it actually, if the water's down there, the roots will head further down when they
Yeah.
don't have.
So the only thing I would caution, is that little pocket of water can get anaerobic. And instead of being good for the microbes, it'll literally like poison all of them.
Okay.
When that, like the water that mosquitoes like,
Mhm.
that stagnant, that
Yeah.
doesn't move. So that's like real bad for the plants and the microbiology. So that would just be my only caution. You may want to throw like one little hole in the middle, but if you got it down, you got it down. I mean, again, everyone's situation's different. So who am I to say what works and what don't?
I feel I do understand what you're saying, but I feel that it does get absorbed.
Sure. Yeah,
That
it's kind of the
it's
same thing I do with that bottom runoff.
when I go a day or two past, it's gonna suck it all up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as long as you don't
But
see
I
claw going,
mean,
you're
it's
good.
I do see your point though.
Yeah. Again, just, kind of just because personally, we were talking getting more in the organic side of it. Again, I'm not like full organic. I'm synganic because I'll still bottle feed them. If my girls need something, I will give it to them. I'm not going to wait for some dry amendment to kick in and wait for them to break it down and I'm giving it to them now. I don't want them being thirsty or deficient in anything for any amount of time. So as soon as I notice it, I'm fixing it. So that's my reason. But no, I fully try. I do a healthy dose of feeding the microbes. I try to keep them active and blackstrap molasses, the whole 9 yards. And so far so good. I've no, I'm nowhere near even what people would call a good grower. I mean, there's so many people better than me, but for me personally, it's been working out great. So
Yeah, I think you're doing a fantastic job. And that is actually, I get a lot of my indoor growing advice from you because as I've said before, I did mostly the outdoor stuff, and
that's a
this
whole different beast.
been my first year doing indoor. So, um, I know there's more to it than what I've done in the past. So,
Yeah, it's I enjoy it. I'm very, very hands-on with it, because like I said, it's out in my grow room's out in my garage. So I come out here probably way more than I should. Let's be real honest. Yeah, I'm probably exposing them to more problems by coming out here constantly, but um, I can't help it. I'm daily. I'm out here bending branches, rubbing stems. I'm checking leaves. Not going too crazy with it. I like letting them. They'll balance out if you give them what they need. They'll balance out. So like the first sign of like a bad leaf, I'll leave it just to let me see what happens. And then if it gets real bad, then yeah, we'll call the herd if we need to. But
yeah.
speaking of mistakes in the garden, okay. I want just real quick. I want to talk about probably one of the worst ones would be spider mites. Uh,
I've heard some nightmares about that.
so I unfortunately I had a full-on war in my house with spider mites.
Oh my
So
goodness.
and I'll make it real short. So me and the family, we all went to one of our local nurseries. Okay, got some real nice house plants. Okay, get everything home, get it all spread around the house. Literally one in my son's room, living room, our bedroom, everywhere. We like plants. It's not just the ones I grow. So a couple days go by, I start noticing what I shouldn't be noticing, a little bit of webbing on some of these house plants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God. I never thought of it, never. Anyway, so I see some webbing. I'm like, oh my God, get out to my garden. in the garage, and I am infested.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was brought in through my house plants. I don't know which one specifically. Maybe it was all of them. Maybe that whole nursery was infested. I have no idea. But that was the only change in environment was we brought in 10 house plants, and then all of a sudden in my house, spider mites. In my garden, spider mites. So it was I ran the gauntlet of I killed everything in the house. I just got rid of all of those house plants.
Yeah.
But I did all sorts of neem oil and ladybugs, and then neem oil again. Something that did now, who knows if I ever truly eradicated them. I can tell you at harvest time there was nothing. And I washed them all up. I got all that weird whatever webbing was up, because I was even going in and wiping off leaves individually, trying to kill everything.
Yeah.
But it's a preventative measure. Okay, just on a quick note on that, something I'm seeing a lot of people do is they're actually adding neem oil to the water that they're feeding their plants with.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know what stage they're at, because I'm very meticulous in adding my ingredients. So that I'm going to have to look up. However, it totally makes sense, because if you have that neem oil coursing through the veins of the plant, it's going to detract all the bugs to begin with. So yeah, I spent a lot of spare time just kind of looking up, watching a lot of smarter people than me's videos, what they do, how to fix these problems. Because I'm all about trying to figure it out instead of just, torching it and starting over. Let's fix it. I may run into an issue where I don't have the choice of throwing stuff away. So let's fix the problem.
I agree 100% with that. If you can fix it, fix it. And if you can do some preventative things, do that too. I have been hearing something about this neem oil a bit, and obviously it sounds like it's something to learn about at least.
Yeah, number one thing, bugs will not attack healthy plants. So if you can keep them healthy, keep them happy, no problems. Literally no problems. It's when they start finding, sick things, whether it's a hormone problem or a actual nutrient deficiency, that's when they start attacking. So if you can keep them just from the get-go happy and healthy, should be smooth sailing. But so much easier said than done.
I wanna ask a question on that.
Yeah.
And man, if all of your plants are completely healthy and you actually throw a friggin' jar of spider mites into your tent, for instance, or whatever, your grow room, and just seal it up, they're not gonna do anything?
In theory, no. If the plants are that truly healthy, there shouldn't be anything for
them. They like the dirty shit, is basically what he's saying.
It's
just curious about that. Just curious.
Yeah, again, I would definitely never ever suggest it.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, if it's ever been like maybe the actual bugs can cause damage that then later they can go, oh, well, now that we caused some damage,
so
invade.
Yeah, it's I've been very lucky. My autoflower run, I had some fungus gnats. So just a little bit of food grade diatomaceous earth and some sticky traps, and that was quickly taken care of. I am currently knocking on wood because as of right now, I have no issues with my 3 gallon, no fungus gnats, no nothing. Again, let me go ahead and do that one more time. But no problems. And I have the door open most of the day. You know, I'll open up the garage and let a bunch of fresh air in. So like there's definitely ample opportunity for some bugs to get in. You know, and I've had like you know, I've had some random ass shit in there. I had a tarantula in there. You know, a bee got in
Whoa.
there.
You saying you had a real tarantula? See,
Yeah,
people from where I'm at, that's a pet in a pet store, or it's something on a movie.
dude.
You
Okay.
had a freaking tarantula. I gotta.
Full disclosure. So this summer, we removed 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth 4 tarantulas out of the garage.
It reminds me of a time when we went up to my dad's cabin, and you were determined to catch a deer with your bare hands.
All right, full disclosure, we were very young and had no responsibilities. So that cabin trip was filled with alcohol and God, I don't even remember what else. Yeah. I do remember the very first night we get there, okay? We had brought, I believe it was your dad's fishing boat and then a jet ski, right?
Yep, yep.
And we get there late. We went with one other person and we got there super late. So it was dark. I had never been there before. And this is out in the middle of nowhere. And you're like, all right, dude, you know, get on this jet ski, follow me. We need to go dock them, you know, at my dad's place. Middle of the night, I have no idea what's going on. And, you know, you're like, haha, gone. I'm like, oh, shit.
I didn't have a light or nothing on the boat.
No. Well, you had like one of those little, like, that little pole light. So, like, technically, but like, that is nothing. Nothing. Yeah, that was a good trip, man. Lots of fishing that time.
Yeah.
Lots of drinking.
Yes. Yep.
You know, my biggest suggestion to people is, you know, everyone, you know, you get all this information, you want to try all this stuff. You have to do a grow from start to finish. You know, whether you take notes or not, you need to do it one way. And if you decide to change something, you only change one thing. You know, if you're like, oh, I'm changing my soil, well, changing your soil is also now going to change your feeding regimen, because depending on what soil you're getting, it's going to have different nutrients in it or a different amount of nutrients in it.
Mhm.
So again, one thing at a time. You know, we always want to upgrade. We always want to, you know, I fiddle constantly in the garden. You know, however, when it comes down to like there's some core things I don't change. You know, I'm pretty rigid on my feeding because again, it works for me.
Exactly.
You know, I have the soil combination with the nutrients I use and the microbes and in my light, it seems to work for me. You know, again, can't say it's going to work for everybody, but so far so good. So always looking to change, you know, something, upgrade something, make it a little bit better. But I'm always scared to change. You know, what works.
If you're doing quality, then yeah, there's no reason to change much. I mean, then it's just fine tuning.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you're gonna try some things like you've done. You topped an auto.
Yeah.
They say don't top an auto, you know, and I think it still turned out well.
Yeah. I think definitely I'm gonna do because after these gals finish, I'm gonna do kind of the same rotation. Run some autos. The moment they all start flowering, pop seeds of some photos, let them veg the whole time that those autos are gonna finish. So it seems to work out for me. Kind of
Now, will you top an auto again?
uh
You're just gonna train.
I think I'm just gonna train from now on. You know, well, again, I can't say never, okay.
Mhm.
I think
In your
based what's that?
Not even your photos?
Not after what I'm seeing right now, man. So, okay, for example, when I did the topping on the third gal, which whatever. Oh, the straw on gold. That's what it is. When I did the topping on her, okay, I had already from bending the branches created like 3 different tops, okay, that just went wild.
Yeah.
One branch got way too tall too quick. So I actually topped the one to slow it down. Okay. And it actually kind of evened them all out because I topped that. And then while that took the time, to grow that, all those were starting to catch back up on this side. However, at all the tops that were on that branch going up to it, that I topped it, also slowed down. So, like when you're looking down into it,
Sorry.
no, that's all right. When you're looking down into it, like 3/4 of it has a whole bunch of like tops coming up, and then one side has a whole bunch of short ones from the topping I did on that branch.
Okay, I see.
Does that kind of make so it slowed that whole branch down? And now everything else caught up, in the top of that big branch where I did top it, that's all even now. But then so the canopy goes like even, dip, even. It's got a weird bloop right in the middle on that side. So, hey, we're all learning. So, but yeah, no, as far as me moving forward, I think I'm just gonna be, bending branches down, bending and twisting so every time like I'll bend one, I'll shear off all that bottom growth so it only goes up, if that makes sense.
I do understand that. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm a massive topper. On my out plants, top. I top, and I'm gonna attempt something on my indoor plant, and it's gonna be multiple tops, and I'm gonna try one, where I'm not really doing that either.
Sure.
It's more on my training, but I'm still do training with the one that I'm gonna top multiple times, and I'm gonna try something, and that is you remember the plant that I had that just kind of spread out both ways?
Yep.
So it's like, if it was this one, it was, it had one this way and then another going this way. Well, I'm gonna, because that's from topping it here and spreading it. And then all these little nodes that were popping up, I'm gonna top those so that they, go in 2 directions too.
Yeah.
This one. And just kind of go a little nuts like I did with my outdoor plants, but do it in a trained way and just see what happens. And then, like I said, I'm going to have the other one going a different way. It's going to be more focused on training. And like I mentioned in the past, these are some plants that I'm going to be putting over at my mom's house to give her something to do.
Yeah.
So try a couple different methods and just,
why not?
And then my tent will be doing its thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exciting times, man. Yeah, I'm probably so my plan is officially the 1st of November. to kick my 3 gals into flower. So coming up soon, man. Coming up soon. I'm getting excited.
Very exciting. And those are the photos, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Have you ever experimented with going longer on your veg?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that maybe?
Yep. Yeah. I so when I first started, I'll make this real short. The very first one I did, because I had a very cheap light, like very, again, this was back in the day, very, very cheap light. I vegged for like, oh man, 4 months, maybe 5 months. And
Okay.
she was only 4 feet tall. It was very discouraging. The wife was not very thrilled, let me tell you. Oh, the extra electricity and time and effort, not good.
Yeah, and then I remember some of those early LEDs that came out, and they
Oh,
were
they're terrible.